or football?
We already know the schedule. We've known the basketball schedule. We've known it's going to be hard.
It will be hard. I read the Grub transcript earlier. So I'm pretty in touch there.
This is
Good.
the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
He didn't bite on my question. Not that I thought he would. I asked him about, so how's the running back usage changed? And he was like, we'll see.
You said what? Like that's a broad question or something?
That was the next question.
Okay.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa, Internet World, West Alabama. How we doing today? It's the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com. Hope you guys are having a great day. We're coming to you live in the Derek Daniels State Farm Studios. Another afternoon show. This one was intentional. We're having a great time in the Derek Daniels State Farm Studios after we have just come off the Alabama practice field. We spent most of the morning over there at the Malmore Athletic Facility, listening to crowd noise, enjoying the heat, getting ready for Alabama's season opener against the Florida State Seminoles. So we will spend most of our time today talking about practice, talking about what we saw, talking about the questions we had yesterday, answering them today, addressing what we heard from Caden Proctor, from Jeremy Bernard, from Ryan Grubb. You can see all those videos right there on the Bama Central YouTube channel. That's where you're watching this show. You're watching it also on the Bama Central Facebook page, on my own social media machine at Joe Gaither6 on Twitter. You're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon, really wherever you get your podcast. Bubble, Red Circle, lots of podcast platforms. You can find the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. We're here with our man Theo Fernandez. Follow Theo at Theo Fernandez _. He's putting in 5 times the work this week, being on the show most of the week. Hey, so I hope you didn't already tell Henry that you're going to be here Friday, did you?
I did not.
Perfect. Don't tell him.
Let's hope he's not listening then.
He's not. Look, do you know Henry? Irresponsible, not with the program. He's not listening. So on Friday, that'll be a good surprise. Henry thinks that he's sitting in the co-host chair alone, but he's going to get blindsided. We'll stick him over in the corner just so we can beat him up the whole week.
We can keep him out in the parking lot, honestly.
Well, we need the microphone. The microphone cord doesn't stretch that far. No, we'll have Henry Sklar join us on Friday, so we'll do a little trios action. But we are live in the Derek Daniels State Farm Studios. Call Derek for all your 3391 home auto insurance needs. You can call Derek Daniel like a good neighbor. Derek Daniel is there. Call him and see how much money you can save today. Theo saved a bunch of money last week. And I save a bunch of money each and every month because, I do a little bit of insurance shopping when I think maybe Derek, we can get a little cheaper. But every time I do a little shopping, it's like, no, you didn't beat Derek's number. No, you didn't beat Derek's number. So call him 205-758-3391. You'll get a local agent. So if Theo ever has any accidents, he can call Derek and he can let him know, look, I'm on XYZ Street. What happened? I need to get this figured out, and Derek will take care of him. It's always better to call someone local than that silly 1-800 number and be directed to someone in a call center from 500 miles away. So Derek Daniel can be your local agent too. 205-758-3391 for all of your insurance needs.
Yeah, we can't be speaking me getting into an accident even into existence, Joe. We cannot handle.
Have you ever been in an accident?
One time, unfortunately.
Oh, terrible situation.
Keep that number at 1.
Absolutely.
Not
so
increase that.
Defensive driving, especially here in Tuscaloosa, the drivers are crazy. I was driving over to the studio from the facility, and I'm just taking my sweet little time, and people are flying all around me up Laurel and Wallace Boulevard, and I'm like, wow, guys, y'all must be in a hurry. I mean, I was going a proper speed limit, but I just got a new car, and I'm not trying to push that baby further than its limits. I'm trying to make that last the next 20 years of my life. And so,
look, man, you see that Jeep or that BMW with 3 letters on the back. You be as careful as you possibly can.
Absolutely. I had one for DG, the triangle DG. Yeah, pop in front of me today, and I thought, go ahead and go, girl. You're all good. You got it. So we're live, and we were just at the Malmore Athletic Facility, Theo. So what do you want to start with today? We can start with running back rotation, what we saw from the practice field. We can start with offensive line, first team offensive line, what we saw. Because look, we're readdressing the questions we left you with yesterday. Who's going to be in the running right back rotation? How's the order going to go? What's the status of the right guard? Was James Smith active on the defensive line? So those are the first three questions we're going to address. What we saw today. We're going to talk about heat, Theo, how hot it was today. Not as hot as it could have been, but how hot it was today. We're going to work in some Jam Miller reporting with the running back conversation. Alex Booth from WVUA 23 caught up with Jam Miller today. And so we'll talk about Alex's report. Love that guy. Alex does good work. And when he graduates, he's not graduated yet, is he?
No, so he's graduated, but now he's got a full-time job at VUA.
Okay, well, good. Yeah. He should have been. I mean, he's very, very hireable. That guy is does a very good job. So I was going to say, if he's still in school, make sure to look for him to get hired.
No, he's settled in, doing a great job anchoring. I was going to head out to him to his Skippy peanut butter pop-up, and we got a podcast to record. We got priorities here.
That's right. That's right. So we'll talk about a lot of things today. We're going to talk heat. We're going to talk crowd noise. We're going to talk Ty Simpson. So dealer's choice, Theo. I'm going to roll the dice, and what's it come up? What do you want to start with?
Well, I think the biggest story, obviously, is the Jam Miller, the running back. So let's get into some of the stuff that Grubb said and some of that reporting Alex did, maybe.
There we go. Roll the dice, and it comes up 2-6. Jam Miller is first up today. Yeah, Alex reported it on his social medias. I already gave him a retweet because we like to credit the people who do the reporting on 3 Sports. Alex Booth basically caught up with Jam Miller and talked to him. Jam says he did not have surgery. I'm not real sure what this procedure was, but said he did not have surgery. It's not a broken collarbone. It's basically he indicates that it's a dislocated collarbone. Which is a huge positive for everybody. He asked, Alex asked him how he's feeling. He said, much better now that my collarbone is back into place. So it indicates that it's a dislocated collarbone. He was out there at this Skippy's peanut butter pop-up right there on campus, underhand tossing some bags, underhand tossing some balls, at some targets. But his injured shoulder was wrapped heavily. But really, with the new, extra information, not new information, but extra information and the dialed in context, I think you should feel encouraged if you're an Alabama football fan. I had somebody text me yesterday, Theo, and they said, "Oh, Joe, has the season ended before they even began?"
No, don't go there.
No, it's okay. It'll be fine. We'll get him back, and it sounds like it's an even more minor injury than even we thought on Sunday morning. So I think that you should be encouraged if you're a Jam Miller fan, if you're an Alabama football fan. I think you should be encouraged with Alex's extra context today, revealing that nothing was really broken. It sounds like a dislocation. And seems like there was a procedure to, put that baby back in its place. And now it's wrapped up. We want to see it wrapped up. I guess Jam told him that the doctors told him. Jam told Alex that the doctors told Jam that the recovery was going to be quick. So missing probably the Florida State game in 11 days. And no reason to play him in the ULM game in 11 plus 7 is 18 days. And you got Wisconsin, 7 more days, 25 days away. You got a bye week. It's 32, right?
39 days till Georgia.
Exactly. And so I think that yesterday on the show, I was pretty cautious about saying he would play against Georgia. I'm not going to say it's 100% he's going to play, but I would feel a whole lot better today, or I do feel a whole lot better today about his chances to play in that Georgia game.
Could not agree more. I mean, I would have said it's probably, I think I would have put it probably a little under 50% before this information. Now I would expect him out there almost.
Yeah, I would say that if as long as things go according to plan, and look, he's got the best medical care that a college athlete could get here in Tuscaloosa. Jeff Allen does a great job, and their whole team does a great job getting these guys back to health. I believe that there's probably a 60, 70, 80% chance that he's going to be suiting up against the Georgia Bulldogs.
Absolutely, and it's going to add just such a new element seeing him out there, and we don't even stating the obvious here. We know what he provides.
Who you texting over there? You texting your mother?
No, I'm not. I'm not texting anyone.
You texting Hunter Brantley?
I was responding to Hunter Brantley. Yeah, he called me out on Twitter, so had to. He thinks Alabama's playing the Oklahoma City Thunder at the Players Era Festival. Some of those tweets, I don't know where he's coming from. Hunter.
Okay, yeah,
He
all
likes
right.
tagging me and stuff, so got to always respond to the fans out there.
Hunter Brantley, a frequent voicemailer. We got to get him back in here.
I told him yesterday, leave a call. Told him and JD to both leave some calls into the show.
Here's the deal. If he leaves a call between now and the end of the week, then I'll invite him in for Monday.
There we go. Stage is set, Hunter. You know what you need to do.
Seems like a good trade to you?
It absolutely does. I mean, we know he's listening to this, so we know he'll get a voicemail out.
There you go. So there we go. Between now and Monday, and we do have a voicemail in our tank. You can join Dax on the voicemail line at 205-462-7340, extension 800. So yeah, feeling better about Jam. And like, I'll just be honest, I guess if you watched the show yesterday, listened to the show yesterday, you probably didn't hear a ton of concern. And no, I just am not. I just was not overly concerned about Alabama's running game based in the talent. The concern for me was pass protection. Will the running backs, will the Richard Youngs, the Daniel Hills, and the Dre Washingtons really be able to adequately keep Ty Simpson protected? And I still think it's a question mark for the first 3 weeks. I do. I think that's going to be a question that we get answered fairly quickly, and I think that it's going to be a question that the first passing down, if whichever running back it is, gets blown up or misses their assignment or blocks the wrong guy or whiffs like crazy and puts Ty into danger, they're going to take you out and they're going to put the new guy there. I think it's going to be a pretty quick hook if you are not up to snuff in pass protection.
Oh, could not agree more. And we don't know much about what these guys can do in pass protection. We talked about this yesterday, especially like Dre Washington having done it against a different level of competition. So we're going to learn a lot about these guys very quickly, and FSU will, getting up against some of those big bodies there, it'll tell us a lot about what we have as far as those three guys are concerned.
What are the chances you see Jam Miller against Georgia take like 2 carries, but gets like 15 snaps and they're all in pass pro?
I would not be surprised. I would love that.
That's an extreme, but I just think that the question mark is still that's pretty much the main question mark with these running backs right now. Not the talent when they have the football in their hands, but can they understand their assignment, block a blitzing linebacker, block an edge rusher off the edge, fit into the pass protection scheme?
Which one of those guys can be that third down back? Mm-hmm. That's a big question to answer.
All right, so let's get to what we saw on at practice today. And look, really, you guys know it. Every time we've talked about practice, we tell you and admit that it's only 15 minutes or so, 15, 20 minutes. It's basically 2 to 3 to 4 periods of action. And with the running backs, they were on the opposite side of the field from us. So, yes, they are further away, but the iPhones are pretty great now. You can zoom in and figure out what's going on. They're jumping over bags. They're running over bags. They're running through the little, basically the gauntlet shoot where you got to hit all the bags. They're all banging off you. You got to run with some power and some pad level. And the order was Richard Young first, Richard Young, Dre Washington. No, excuse me. Richard Young, Daniel Hill, Dre Washington, Kevin Riley, A.K. Deere. There's your 5. That was your 5 in order.
I wouldn't look too much into that order.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't. Especially when you got media out there, you could very easily, hey, let's mix this up for this. I would not look. I personally, at least, I wouldn't look into that really at all, honestly.
I think you still have the top 3 guys, and it's just going to be a jumbled mess it's just going to be dependent on what formation we want to call in that first play. That's the starter. What formation and what the assignment is on that first play. That's the starter. I think that Richard Young, this injury, I think opens the door for Richard Young to really force the Alabama offensive staff to play him all year long, to force the Alabama offensive staff to make this a group of 4 instead of a group of 3. We asked Ryan Grubb last week about how many running backs he could foreseeably have strong roles, have big roles. And this was before the injury. He said, well, as many as it takes, but you're really probably going to be about 3. So that, I mean, we've done this before. We've had this conversation before, Theo, where I thought, well, that just means that was one of those talented 4 is getting cut out of the group. I think this is Richard Young's chance to really force them to make it, instead of a group of 3, a group of 4 when Jam comes back.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, it almost doesn't feel like you're going to fully phase out that odd guy out. You know, when you have 3 guys involved in the game, as long as they're all up to the standard, keep them rolling.
And so
we were talking about, I think it was 22, where you had a lot of running backs in the mix. There have been, I mean, some years are more top heavy. Some years you have a lot more guys involved, and this year seems like it'll be more of the latter.
Yeah, in 2022, how many guys got good carries? You got Jahmyr Gibbs, Jace McClellan, Roydell Williams, and Jam Miller got himself 30 carries that year as well.
Could have been 21.
Trey Sanders got himself 15 carries. And then you look back at 17, right? 17 was Najee's freshman year. You ended up with several guys getting a bunch of carries. Let's see. Jalen Hurts got 154. Damian Harris, Bo Scarborough, Najee Harris, Josh Jacobs, and then Brian Robinson came in with 24 carries also.
That's such an insane group. That is. I mean, I see like the pictures of the running back room all the time. Like, that is just nuts. It's unreal.
Yep, absolutely. So I think that there's a way, like even this 2017 year, I mean, Jalen led with 154 carries, quarterback run, scramble, this, that, and the other. Damian Harris, 135, Bo Scarborough, 124, Najee Harris, 61, Josh Jacobs, 46, Brian Robinson, 24, and then Ronnie Clark with 21.
How are you stopping that running back room, man? That team was so good.
Yes. That's one of my favorite teams that we've ever seen play, really. So my concern with the running back room is still at a 3, at a 2. It's pretty low. My confidence in the current trio is at a 7.8, at an 8.1. I think that these 3 guys can get it. I'm really, 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 really excited about Daniel Hill. I'm really intrigued by Dre Washington. And we've already seen flashes from Richard Young already. So I think you combine all 3 of those statements, you should feel pretty good about the running back room too, despite Jam Miller's injury. And with Alex Booth reporting today, you should feel better about Jam's injury. So if you're sitting there worried, hitting the panic button about Jam getting injured, I think just put your seatbelt on for 3 weeks, and then you get your bye week. Put your seatbelt on for 4 weeks, watching the reports. Buckle up and just grit your teeth that Jam's going to be coming back pretty soon.
Could not agree more.
All right, so let's move to the next part that we saw, the next big question. Right guard. Yeah, right guard is still a question to me. And so we're out there at practice, and we see left to right, Caden Proctor, Cam Dewberry, Parker Brailsford, Gino Vandermark, and Wilkin Formby. And of course, we told you last week that Jaden Roberts had a concussion, or we alluded to it heavily. So hopefully you picked up what you read between the lines right there. But and Kalen DeBoer confirmed it on Saturday. Jaden Roberts was out there today, full pads, helmet, all the whole 9 yards. But he was working in extremely sporadically. A lot of the time was standing off to the side. Now, this is just the 15 minutes, but he only got maybe 2, 3, 4 reps across the 15 minutes that we were out there. Most of the work was, and he was standing with the second group. You got the first 5 on one end. They break the offensive line in 2 groups, right? The first 5's on one side, and they're going through plays pretty quickly, and they're working through concepts pretty quickly. And then the second group is your Jackson Lloyds, is your Michael Carrolls, is your Olas Lennons, is your William Sanders, is your Joe Ionatas, and he's watching that group. He's not watching the first group. He's watching the second group. I'm pretty concerned, or I'm almost at the place. I don't know if concerned is the right word. I'm almost at the place where I am going ahead and putting Gino Vandermark as your starter at right guard, at least for the first handful of weeks.
I would agree with that. And look, mixed bag out of him last year. You have to just at this point trust the development, trust that we've done a good job.
Kapilovic loves him.
Kapilovic does love him. And yeah, obviously part of that is the fact that he followed him from Michigan State, that they've been very close over the years. But I think I feel pretty solid about him, at least in the beginning of the season, and obviously hoping that Roberts can get back and be the player that we know he can be, because that is a grown man there at right guard. That is, man.
Right, that's maybe why I'm so got bad feelings, and not bad that it's not going to work out, but just unsettled feelings about what's really going on here. Is it all Roberts' injury, or was it maybe lackluster play through fall camp? Or what's really going on here? Is it Gino Vandermark taking the step forward and asserting himself as a player and saying, hey, you got to make me one of your first five? I'm just really unsettled here. And so when Alabama rolls out against Florida State, that's going to be, everybody's going to be looking at Ty Simpson, and I will as well. But that's really what I'm going to be. Do you get adequate play across the offensive line? And are you sitting there looking at Gino saying, hey, man, you're just keeping this spot warm until Jaden Roberts clears concussion protocol?
And I think last week I probably had some of those concerns you did. Now that we have full confirmation on, I don't know, I just think now that we have full confirmation, yes, concussion, I think I feel better about that. And I think it's okay to have Vandermark have to fill in for a little while. I will say,
yeah, Grubb said it as much today. He said, "Oh, I'm confident in Cam and Gino."
I got a really good answer from him at Alabama's media day on Dewberry, basically talking about this is a guy that his evaluation of him when he picked him up in the portal was that this is a guy who direct quote, flashes of greatness. And he said there were times where he thought Dewberry might have just been going through the motions, not fully involved. And he thinks that that's something that has changed in his time in Tuscaloosa. The thing that worries me, at least off the bat, is that your two biggest questions are playing right next to each other on the right side. The fact that, I definitely feel better about Formby, but we still know that, maybe there'll be, we know what we saw from him last year.
Taco Casa has a lot of what you like. Come on, Wilkin. Are you going to have a lot of what I like this year? Oh, I believe it. I believe in it.
I believe it too.
Oh, but there's a small chance that it's just belief. It's just, pulling for the local talent.
And that's one of those things that we'll get an answer on that pretty quickly.
Yeah, of course.
We'll get an answer on that real fast.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll find out. But that's kind of where the offensive line sits as of Tuesday, August 19th. All right, last question that we had yesterday was James Smith's health. Now, this is a weird one to me because he has been participating in every single practice media practice viewing that we've had this year. He's been participating. But each Saturday scrimmage, last Saturday and the Saturday before, Kalen DeBoer says, he did not participate in the said Saturday scrimmage. And basically said, he's still working through some things. He's still working to get back from maybe an offseason this or an offseason that. Again, today, fully healthy, leading the lines, first defensive lineman through all the lines. And look, they are in full pads, but they're just going around smacking another pad, right? They're just going around smacking a big old blocking dummy. And yeah, he's looking good. He's looking athletic. He's looking fit. So I'm really staring at him, trying to figure out what's wrong with you. What is wrong with you? Is it something that I don't see? Is it a back spasm issue? I have no idea. Zero idea. I can't tell if it's, oh, you got a toe, you stubbed a toe injury. I have no clue. Oh, you jammed a wrist. I have zero clue. I can't pick it out with my eyes standing 5 feet away from the man. And so I don't understand why he was held out these two scrimmages. Was he held out these two scrimmages just because he would wreck too much shop on the offensive line? Look, I can't figure it out.
Look, I don't feel super concerned about that with how much time we have leading up to the game. I feel pretty solid about seeing him out there week 1 right now.
Has he just had had sniffly nose on these last 2 Saturdays?
I feel I don't see much cause for concern with him being held out of a scrimmage.
2 scrimmages.
Yeah, it's not raising any alarms for me personally.
The only reason that I'm concerned is because I've talked so much mess this offseason that he's going to be a beast, that he's going to be a monster.
I see no reason to doubt that statement at all. The fact that he's still out there able to practice, you want to have you don't want to have to worry about, oh, will this guy get banged up in this scrimmage where we're taking different kind of reps? Nothing wrong with a little caution.
Are we just trying to keep the offensive line's confidence high because he'd get out there and just throw somebody around?
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, yeah, right.
I don't understand.
You don't want to mess with Gino's confidence early on, right?
I don't understand it at all.
So yeah,
yes, every time we've seen him this year, it's been like, holy moly, I can't wait to watch him against another team.
Being an interior lineman, having to stop him and Keenan, man, it's going to be some challenges. And we know FSU has. You guys did your offensive line breakdown last Friday, and they got some ballers on the inside. I think we'll have James Smith for that game, and I think we'll see his impact real early.
I'm concerned. I'm only concerned because I can't figure out what has actually been wrong with him. Because my eyes, every time that I have seen him, say there's nothing wrong with this fellow. There's nothing wrong with him. He's ready to go out there and really destroy some offensive lines. So there's the 3 questions we had yesterday, Theo, and there's your answers for them. How you feel?
I feel solid with the answers. I think if I had to highlight my only real potential cause for concern, it's that offensive line. And I think if we're in a place right now as a team where our biggest question is, a couple players on the inside, really one main position when your main starter has a concussion, I think things could be a whole lot worse right now, and not all that concerned as a whole.
All right, well, let's hit a quick break right here. I've got 2 more topics that I want to address today, and then we will take a break, and we'll be back on our regular schedule Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning. Tomorrow morning we'll have an episode, and then we will get over to the facility and talk to Kane Womack and select defensive players. We will talk on Thursday to Kalen DeBoer, and then the team will practice 2 more times, but we won't be allowed there on Friday and Saturday, and we'll be on game week. So we'll be back on tomorrow morning and Thursday morning and Friday morning. But let's hit a quick break. I got 2 more topics to hit for today.
Northport Lions Club and St. Mark Church present a free health fair in honor of Dr. Norman and Jean Carlson, Saturday, August 23rd, 8:30 till noon. That'll be in the St. Mark Family Life Center. Northport citizens can get free eye, hearing, and blood pressure screenings, diabetes testing, and more. Now, the first 100 people get a free biscuit, and free Domino's pizza slices will be served at 11, along with free snow cones and drinks from Buffalo Rock. Sponsors include Alabama Lions Psych, Ascent Audiology, DCH Regional Medical Center, West Alabama Food Bank, Special Olympics, Northport Police Department, U of A Institute for Rural Health, the Alabama Department of Public Health, and others. A Northport Fire Department truck will be on site, and there will be lots of fun kids' activities. The Northport Lions St. Mark Health Fair. See you Saturday, August 23rd.
Get ready, Tuscaloosa. New Era Wrestling presents the Crimson Clash. The hottest local wrestling show in town slams into 2 dimes on Thursday, September 11th. Witness the chaos as social media sensation Big Trouble Ben Bishop brings his larger-than-life swagger to the ring. The man is 6'12", he weighs 15% of a metric ton, and is bringing every bit to Tuscaloosa. Feel the heat when our new champion Sleazy C. Caden Newton defends the open title, and don't miss the brutal street fight between the modern-day Kings and the unstoppable force known as the Draw. It's the same weekend as Alabama hosting Wisconsin, so keep the Tuscaloosa energy high with the Crimson Clash. Doors open at 7 p.m. and the bell rings at 8 p.m. at 2 Dimes on the Strip. Grab your tickets now on Eventbrite by searching New Era Wrestling and use promo code RADIO for 20% off. New Era Wrestling, where legends are made and the battles are epic.
You need length and girth in this league.
And welcome back to the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Will I see you at 2 Dimes?
I will be there. We're getting a story out for some wrestling.
There we go. And I'll see you at 2 Dimes on Thursday for a little Jamie Johnson.
Jamie Johnson in color. I'm excited now.
Yeah, you still game for that?
Absolutely.
All right, bet. So am I. It's going to be a great time. I'm really looking forward to checking out 2 Dimes in 2 different weekends or 2 different Thursdays over the next couple of weeks. Really looking forward to that. Let's hit 2 more topics as we are trying to winding things down on a Tuesday. I want to talk heat and I want to talk noise. Which one you want to hit first?
Well, considering we've been dealing with the heat all day, let's deal with that, man, because it is brutal out here.
Yeah, Saturday was 100 degree on the heat index. Today was another 100 degree on the heat index. Tallahassee on Saturday midday was 107 degrees on the heat index. And it sounds like today wasn't overall a great day of practice, because we talked to Caden Proctor afterwards, and he may have revealed something they didn't want revealed, but he said it right there in press availability, so we can talk about it. We were asking him about Ty Simpson being named starting quarterback. It was the first time we had gotten to talk to Caden Proctor since that had happened, and he basically was like, "Oh yeah, Ty's my guy. I love that guy. What did he say? He's a goofy guy." I got the quote right here. He's a goofy guy. Let me pull it up. All my internets. Let's see, right there. Why did Ty Simpson get fired up at practice? Yes. Quote is, "Love that man. It didn't matter whoever the starting quarterback was. I have a really good relationship with all of them. But Ty, we hang out. He's a goofy, funny guy. He got fired up after practice. We didn't obviously have up to the standard the best practice ever today, so he got on us, and that's the type of leadership you've got to have." I'm thinking, oh, why did he get on to you guys? What happened at practice today? Well, he says, you just can't let the heat, Caden Proctor, you just can't let the heat get to you, and it got to some people. It's really hard sustaining for 20-plus periods in practice. Just got to take care of the little things off the field, and you should be good to go on the field. Just got to have the intensity and focus throughout practice, just at a higher level. Not that the practice sucked today, but just got to be better. And I thought, oh man, that's not really what you want to be hearing 11 days out from your season opener. It wasn't up to snuff on the intensities. What was Caden Proctor? Are they operating on standards that are higher than most, or do you think the practice wasn't as good as maybe? Do you think they got some intensity issues?
I'm not. I think maybe you do with what was said. Like that one kind of, and that's a quote I had not heard before coming in here, and raises a little concern. Why are we struggling with the heat this much after a whole summer of living?
Because we're practicing in the morning, Theo.
We heard DeBoer talk on Saturday about, why they moved that practice back and, trying to deal with the heat, but it's going to be a struggle no matter what.
Why don't we practice at 3 p.m. when school is not in session? I understand practicing in the morning when school is in session. I get it. I grasp it. Practice first, and they go to class. That's how they set the day up. I totally grasp it. But school is not in session. Now, look, I've never been a college football coach. I've never been a high school football coach. I don't have any sort of expertise and experience there. But Saturday was nasty. Saturday was a nasty day. And when I drove to the facility, when I drove to Bryant-Denny Stadium and I looked up Tallahassee's weather, I thought, oh, it's even worse there. And I thought, I would be like just struggling to. I cut the grass and did fine, and no issues. But like by the end of it, I was like, I'm sweating my tail off. I'm sweating my rear end off, and I'm not in super great shape. I'm in average shape. I think that's a concern. For all the people talking about Florida State's going to be a cakewalk, Alabama's going to kick Florida State in the rear end. XYZ, a 2-10 football team. I think there's some elements that make this that sets this up to be a difficult day. Not that Alabama will lose, but sets it up to be a very difficult day. And I think the heat is an element, a part of that.
Well, let me say this: okay, so Tallahassee, maybe probably one of the 10 hottest locations to play a football game in D1.
Yeah.
When you look at just the sheer number of people on that program that also are transferring in this year, how much roster turnover they have, everyone's going to be struggling out there. Playing in that kind of heat, it doesn't.
Right, but they've been practicing in it.
They have been, but are they practicing at 3:30 in the afternoon?
I have no idea.
I don't think so.
I have no idea.
I mean, my guess would be probably not. The fact of the matter is, it's going to be absolutely grueling out there for everyone on the field. You got a quarterback who played his football up in Boston last year, who's got to adjust to that heat. You've got an offensive line with 4 transfers. I know one of those guys came up from UCF, UCF, yep. Right? But a lot of those
Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, UCF, and I think Wake Forest.
Mm-hmm. The heat's a struggle for everyone.
Yes, they have to play in it also. That is an adequate point. They have to play in it as well. I think that's just going to be an element that makes this a little bit of a concern. Second thing, unless you have more heat talk.
Nope.
Miami Heat. It's the Miami Heat. We can't be beat. You don't know the Heat theme song, do you?
I do not.
You need to look that up. Is the noise. And today, I think they did fine with it, but I was happy to hear the crowd noise over the loudspeaker. We've been hearing the music and the doom, 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 whatever beats you want to play over the loudspeaker, keeping the energy high. Today was no music, at least the periods that we were there and the periods we were waiting to go back in for interviews. What we heard over the loudspeaker was just a terrible screeching sound that I don't even want to continue because it annoys me to hear it back in my own ears. Ryan Grubb said that the team did struggled at the beginning with it a little bit, but through the practice got back on track, got on track, and he thinks that with more time that it won't be a big deal. Alabama struggled going on the road last year. Now, it wasn't noisy. It wasn't noisy at Vanderbilt. Let's be honest. That place was 75% Alabama fans in shock. But it was noisy in Knoxville. Oh, my gosh. And fairly noisy in Oklahoma. Those people were pretty nice, but they were passionate. I don't think that their passion made it a venomous noise level, but I think they were into it for sure. Alabama struggled on the road last year. I mean, beat the brakes off of LSU, but that's a loud place, and I think LSU had some different issues, defensive issues, that made that a little easier game for Alabama. What you think about going into Tallahassee, hearing the war chant, and 80,000 people desperate to see their team restart their program with a signature win against the Crimson Tide?
Man, if I'm DeBoer, I'd be blasting that war. I'd be blasting that. Just that alone. Get the players as accustomed as they possibly can be to it, because first of all, I cannot wait to hear that live. I'm gonna be honest. It's going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be loud. It's going to be a tough environment. And there's no way to fully prepare yourself for what you're walking into there. And tying into what we just said, that gets a lot worse when you are, quite literally fighting against Mother Nature for your life.
Yes.
Right? Like the combination.
The elements stack. The elements start to stack.
It makes it so much worse.
the elements start to stack, and then you stack the offensive line and a running quarterback with Gus Malzahn. I think that you should just be setting yourself up for not a fun day. Not a fun day.
I could see like a 7-7 halftime score.
Yes, exactly. A gross day. And then, okay, you go into halftime and you rah-rah this and you rah-rah that, and you come out and you win the second half, but you're like, thank God we don't have to play here again for a while.
Maybe it starts to cool off a little as the game unwinds, right?
Doubtful. I mean, it's going to be 7 o'clock or so by the time it's over.
Yeah.
It won't cool that
It
much.
won't be that cool, yeah.
All right, let's hit the voicemail line as we get out of here.
What's up, guys?
We want to encourage all your voicemails. I think that part of this is from Mason, but we'll have Mason. I'll send this to Mason, and we'll see if Mason wants to leave us a voicemail for tomorrow morning.
What's up, guys? It is Dax. Mason, I know you haven't slandered Ty Simpson, buddy. When you start yelling, I start laughing, and it is one of the best parts of the show. And I really just love working you up because it's really funny to me. And I hope it's funny to other people. And I hope it's funny to you, too, when you give it a listen back. Because, honestly, it's fantastic content. So stop with the Ty Simpson slander. Anyway, on to the real topic. I had Cam Miller as my breakout player. And the freaking course, as soon as everybody was hyping this man up, whatever is his collarbone, still don't even know the extent or how long he's going to be out. But I don't think he's going to play for the Florida State game at least, and probably the next 2 games until Georgia. I think we're going to keep him sidelined until Georgia. So that means whoever's next up, who is it going to be? Because all I've heard about in the spring and fall camp is Dre Washington and Daniel Mountain. I haven't heard a heap about Richard Young, even though I think, like, in my opinion, Richard Young has a higher ceiling than Cam Miller. I think A.K. Deere obviously has the highest ceiling out of everybody, but he's a freshman. I don't see him getting on the field that much this year. But when he grows up, in college football terms, A.K. Deere is going to be a monster. But then we got Xavier Crowell coming in next year who's going to be nipping at the heels of everybody. So, I mean, the running back room is looking good. It's just I don't think anybody knows who's going to be starting at Florida State. If I had to guess, oh, man, I want to say Richard Young because I love him. So I'm going to go with Richard Young with Dre at 2 and Daniel Mountain at 3. I guess we're going to find out. When y'all be listening to this, we'll have 11 days. So 11 days till Alabama football. Roll Tide, boys, and I'll catch y'all later.
Thank you for the call there, Dax. And that's very similar to exactly what me and Joe were just talking about with the running backs. We don't know, and might be Richard Young. Quite frankly, the starter doesn't really matter. I think that's the biggest takeaway, honestly, that you should get from listening to this show today. It's that we trust the 3 guys. Very little reason to have doubts about what they can do running the ball. We're going to learn about them in pass protection. We're going to find out who's capable of doing what, who's really going to step up there. And I think we'll be able to make it through this opening stretch of the season without production taking too much of a hit.
Yeah, I think you nailed it right there. You want to tease what you want to talk about tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow we'll talk about some running from a different player. I think Ty Simpson is going to be doing some exciting stuff on the ground. I'm excited to get into that. I'm going more and more intrigued on a weekly basis by what these tight ends are going to do for us this year. Honestly, I mean, we talked a few weeks ago about how I have high expectations for these tight ends this year as far as their involvement in the pass game. I really trust Ryan Grubb to do some fun stuff with them, and I think I think their production will surprise some people.
And we need to talk about Brian Robinson on the trade block, because what in the world's going on with Brian Robinson in the Washington Commanders?
Washington's fallen off this year, and I'm going to be so excited for it.
Oh, yeah. Jaden Daniels, everybody who crowned him as the greatest quarterback in the world.
Sophomore slump.
You watch what happens.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll talk about a lot tomorrow. We want to invite you on the voicemail line, just like Dax, at 205-462-7340, extension 800. You can leave us a comment at Joe Gaither 6, at Theo Fernandez _. You can leave us a comment on the Bama Central YouTube channel. We appreciate those as well. We'll talk to you back at our regular scheduled time, about 8:15 tomorrow morning on all the social media channels, and we'll put it back on the Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, right about 9:45, 10 o'clock in the morning. And we will be in the Malmore Athletic Facility. Tomorrow is Defense Day. Kane Womack will have some Alabama defenders to talk to. So check out the Bama Central YouTube channel for all of that as well. We'll be back tomorrow on the Joe Gaither Show right here on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither 6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.